3. All right. Good evening and welcome to the January 12th public hearing for the Goffstown Budget Committee. I'm going to start off here with a roll call. Skylar.
Present, alone.
Bill Cordes.
Present, not alone.
Greg Flegel. Not here. Joe.
I'm present, not alone.
Eileen.
Here and alone.
Jeff O'Brien.
Here and alone.
Fred is not here. Dennis is not here. I am here and by myself. Spencer Diaz.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Richard Manzo.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Jared Talbot.
Present, not alone.
Richard Fletcher.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Selectman Lemay.
Here and alone.
All right. Thank you very much. And just before we get started here, I know everyone on the committee wishes our best to Fred as he continues to recover. Scott, if you wouldn't mind reading the announcement for remote meeting.
Yeah, sure. Consistent with Governor Sununu's executive order 2020-04, emergency order number 12, the Goffstown Budget Committee will be attending this meeting remotely. The public can access this remote public hearing by either viewing it via live stream link on the Goffstown television website or by calling into a telephone conference bridge line at area code 603-766-5646. If you wish, there's a participant code, which is 685-556. If you wish to make a public comment at the beginning of the meeting, please wait for the chair's instructions and then press #9. Your microphone will be unmuted and you will then be directed to state your name and address prior to making your public comment. When we get to that point, Cole, I am going to try to put up a slide that will give people that phone number, the instructions. Okay?
Great, thank you. And just to go over procedure tonight, we'll be having the public hearing portion of the meeting where we'll have presentations on the school and town side taking public comment after each one. And then close the public hearing and go into a budget committee meeting where we will make our recommendations and have discussions for our recommendations for the ballot. So without further ado, we're going to start off with the school side.
I'm going to share my screen, Cole, and I'll just advance the slides based on your direction.
Perfect. All right. Proposed budget for the 21-22 Goffstown School District operating budget is $47,743,102. Let me just move the little box here. As you can see in the chart here, you have the general fund, food service, and special revenue, and then total for 2021, 21-22 default, and then the 21-22 proposed budgets. Proposed amount to be appropriated for the fiscal year 22 through warrant article 2 is the number that I stated on the previous slide. Here you see revenue projections. We have the local, state, federal use of fund balance, which is used to offset taxes, adequacy, swept, which is the statewide property tax, which is a statewide tax that we pay locally to the state, but comes back to us. But so there's that. One-time fiscal capacity disparity aid from the state of New Hampshire, which is one-time money that appeared in the last budget cycle, and we're not anticipating on seeing those funds this time around. And then at the bottom there, you'll see the total revenue, a slight decrease. General fund portion of the budget, as you can see, the current in the proposed for a difference of $1,768,202 increase. The proposed fiscal year 22 general fund budget represents a 4% overall increase. And a big part of this, and something we'll touch on the town side too, is the retirement for the state costs. An increase in New Hampshire retirement employer contribution accounted for $735,970, or 1.6% of the 4% increase this year. And then looking at the default budget, we have a difference of $110,011, and Scott will discuss the default budget more later on. Looking at what accounts for the increases this year, increased special education costs. That's something that I've seen almost every year in my time on the budget committee here. Personnel costs, salaries, taxes, and benefits for both regular education and special education. Voter-approved contracts with the teachers that happen at town meeting. Health insurance costs, increase of 6%. The retirement costs that increase that was mentioned previously. Transportation costs, mandatory kindergarten transportation, and increase SPED transportation or special education transportation costs based on student needs, and then information technologies, licenses and software, and then data security and privacy, which are newer, a few newer costs there. Looking at enrollment here, going back to 2016, for folks to view in the state where you have seen a lot of school districts have declining enrollment over the years, where, as you can see, Goffstown has been pretty steady, which leads to us not being able to make some of the same adjustments that other school districts have been able to throughout the state. And if you want to look at any of this later, feel free to reach out either to the SAU or town, and we'll get you the information. Looking at Bartlett Elementary General Fund, the current budget is $2.725 million roughly, proposed budget roughly of 2.9, and a difference of just under $200,000 there. Increases in wage and benefits related to voter-approved teacher contracts at town meeting. $2,200 increase in technical non-capital software, $2,800 increase in media non-capital software, and then $1,910 decrease in building maintenance, which we were able to do in this going forward here, which is good. Moving on to Maple Ave, roughly $244,000 difference between the current budget and proposed. Increases in wages and benefits related to voter-approved teacher contracts. Student enrollment projected to be around 531 students. The entire difference between fiscal year 22 and 21 is based on contractual increases in salary and benefit lines at Maple Ave. Moving on to Glen Lake, roughly a $250,000 difference between the current and proposed budget. Bulk of the increase at Glen Lake from the 21-22 budget over the 2021 is encompassed in default budget increase of $215,906. Enrollment at Glen Lake has increased from 164 students in 2014 to 235 projected students in the 21-22 school year. Electricity increase of $5,000 for the new portable classroom, which was recently built on the campus there. Increased costs of special education speech therapy service, 0.4 increase of $30,714. Moving on to Mountain View Middle School, a difference of $425,000 $8,000. Increases in wages and benefits related to voter-approved teacher contract. $6,000 for MVMS appraisal for area agreement, which is a contractual obligation. Decrease of $15,000 for HVAC maintenance, and a decrease of $9,500 in the book line, corresponding decrease in online math program.
Yeah, Cole, it was a corresponding increase, just so.
Oh,
What was offset
sorry.
in the book line? Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
At the high school, we have a difference of $340,000. $340,000. Contractual obligations, health insurance increase, and teacher retirements. Majority of discretionary lines were level funded from the current budget to the proposed. Continuation of computer lab replacements, which is done on a 10-year cycle at $25,000. Decrease HVAC maintenance of $18,217. Transportation increase of 3% over the current year.
And Cole, I just want to if I may interject.
Yes.
The reason why you're seeing decreases in HVAC maintenance across all schools is that we had a maintenance person, we had to replace a maintenance position, and the person that we hired has extensive HVAC skills, and he's able to perform a lot of the general maintenance on our HVAC systems in all of our schools rather than hiring a contractor. So we've seen it was over $40,000, almost $45,000 actually in savings across all schools because of the skill set that this individual has.
And then at the district level, a difference of $323,000. Special education transportation increase of roughly $160,000. Out of district placement increase of $58,000. Professional services, occupational therapy, speech, psych services, vision, etc., $15,000. IT, an increase of almost $40,000 in licenses and software. IT decrease of $55,000 in default due to completion of server virtualization. SAU services increase of, I think that's $10,000, but it's behind Scott's
Oh,
pointer.
I'm sorry.
Here.
I can't get rid of that thing. All right.
All good. And then looking at the historic tax impact for 2020 comparatively projected from the tax rate for 2021 would be a difference of 98 cents.
Yeah, Cole, I think this is one that I definitely want to chime in on.
Yep, go.
And I put that up. I put this up here because, you know, predicting a tax rate is so challenging because a lot of it is based off of revenues, state revenues, and yes, there's a portion of it that's based upon unexpended funds from your budget, but a lot of it is based upon revenues which are wildly, you know, unpredictable, pluses and minus. So last year, you know, when we went through this exercise, you know, I was thinking that we would be in the high 13s, you know, around $14. And, you know, due to COVID and also due to increased, you know, funding from the state through grants and everything, we were, you know, we had an increase of, like I said, about 19, 20 cents. For next year, you know, I'm predicting, you know, again, I try to do it as conservatively as possible, around 98 cents. You know, more often than not, it's going to be lower than that, but I can't make that, you know, make that prediction. I would tell you that COVID is having a similar type of situation this year as it did last year in terms of we'll have an underexpend of transportation because of the fact that we don't have school on Fridays. We're not going to be using as much fuel. We're not running a late bus. So those are just some examples. So that's why you saw a pretty aggressive use of fund balance because of that. But this, and I'm sure the superintendent can attest to this, this is an extremely challenging time in terms of managing budgets and revenues and expenses, simply because everything is so wildly unpredictable. So I think you have a very conservative number here in 98 cents. I think it'll be lower, but I just wanted to explain that.
Mr. Chair, can I just chime in? Scott mentioned that
Yep.
Students are not in on Fridays. Elementary, all of our elementary schools are open on Fridays. The middle school and high school is in a remote mode on Fridays, just to clarify.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Thank you. And then on warrant article number 3 is a deposit of $200,000 from unassigned fund balance into existing capital reserve fund for existing capital assets. And I'll just read this. There is no direct tax impact to warrant article 3, as the funds to be used would come from the unassigned fund balance as of June 30th, 2021. The unassigned fund balance is a combination of unspent monies from the current operating budget and an overcollection of revenues from local, state, and federal sources such as tuition, grants, and additional state funding. The financial consequence of $200,000 in use of unassigned fund balance is approximately 11 cents on the tax rate.
Yes, I just wanted there to be disclosure there that, yes, it is coming from funds that have already been raised by taxation, but if that warrant article were voted down, it would have an 11-cent tax rate decrease. So I just wanted folks to know that there is a financial consequence to that, and this has been a topic of discussion at school board meetings. So full disclosure there. So Cole, you want me to handle this piece of it? So for those who are watching, the default budget is one that is determined by the governing body, which in this case is the Goffstown School Board. This is not something that the Budget Committee reviews. And so when we are at the deliberative session, we will be discussing the warrant articles as well as the budget, and I will be doing a presentation at the deliberative session as to what is included in the default budget and what is not included in the default budget. I'm not going to be going through reading this whole thing, but the big changes here are that contracts that have been previously approved by the voters are part of the default budget. So if you have a teacher's contract, support staff contract, those amounts of money are already those would be included in your default budget. And then, so that's really the big one. You will see in the budget that we have salary and salary increases for those that are not part of a collective bargaining agreement. Those are part of your non-default or your new spending. So I wanted to kind of clarify that. And I'll be going over that at the deliberative. So essentially, you're talking about for the school this year, there's only 2 moneyed articles, as Cole just reviewed. It is the district's operating budget, and he also talked about the facilities capital reserve fund. And that would be the end of the presentation, Cole. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Great. So now is the time for public comment, which Scott or Derek. Scott, do you have the phone number just one more time before we move on here?
Yeah, hold on one second. I just want to make sure I give the right one. So you would be calling area code 603-766-5646. And then you're going to want to call into participant code is 685-562. And then from there, you would just hit *9 if you want to speak. And right now, we don't have that many folks that are on the bridge line. I see there aren't that many. So if anyone does want to speak, you would have to indicate so.
And that'd be by pushing *9.
Yeah.
Great. Just because of how we're doing it virtually here, I'm going to give it a minute here in case anyone is getting in.
Cole, just want to let you know that so far, no one else has joined the call.
Great. I'm gonna do a countdown of 20 seconds on my side here.
Okay.
Great. There's no one on the line now.
That's correct. I mean, other than
No
the folks
one's
that were on there, but
raising
no
their
one has
hand.
indicated they want to speak, so.
All right, we'll move on to the town side.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my desktop. I'm gonna give control of it. I'm gonna let you present this. Just bear with me 1 second. So Derek, you should have the ability to share your desktop now.
All right, so that should be up there for everybody to see, hopefully.
All right, just for the record, I'm admitting Rick Wilhelmi at this time on the Zoom call. And Amy Hunterman is also coming back in. She had a technical issue.
Great. I'm not. Oh, okay. Now I am. Great. Thank you, Derek. All right. Town of Goffstown proposed budget. Proposed budget for 2021 operating budget is $24,844,592, which is an increase over the current year budget of 4.8%. The town's operating budget includes the general fund, the ambulance expenses, and the sewer enterprise fund. The only fund that impacts property tax rate is the general fund, as the other two funds are funded by user fees and grants. The general fund portion of the operating budget article is an increase of $1,075,572. Looking at 2021 operating budget general fund townwide, contractual increase for 2 union CBAs approved at town meetings, wage matrix adjustment for non-union, and 2.5% steps for eligible non-union. Fire operations includes the 4 full-time firefighters approved at the 2019 town meeting, funded with 75% offsetting FEMA/SAFER grant revenue. New Hampshire retirement system rates increase on 7/1/21. Employer share increasing up to 25.9%. It's almost $200,000 increase there. Increases to health insurance rates, overall 12.3% rate increase, an additional $500,000 to the road plan in the operating budget. Looking at my notes here, I don't have anything else. If you want to move on to the next slide. Looking at the 6 town departments, CIP, insurance, and debt service, there are modest increases across the 6 departments. The insurance department includes health, dental, and all other insurances paid by the town. CIP includes capital projects in the budget that have gone through the CIP committee and process. The 2021 CIP budget includes additional $500,000 in reclamation for roads. It also includes 3 new police cruisers, following the department's replacement schedule, trash trailer, 10-wheel dump truck, an excavator for DPW, townwide security and closed CCTV, bridge repairs for Merrill Road and Bog Road, traffic signal upgrades and traffic study, an electronic reader board for Parks and Rec building, which is an outdoor sign. Select Board is proposing use of unassigned fund balance at 2021 tax rate setting to maintain a low town tax rate. Department heads estimate a surplus of $600,000 in 2020 due to savings and programs not run due to COVID-19. The Select Board proposes use of additional $1.4 million from fund balance. The calculated tax rate is based upon an assumed valuation of that number there, which is a conservative 0.5% increase above 2020 MS-1. With use of the fund balance proposed, oh, did I read that? Sorry, just losing my spot here. With use of fund balance proposed by the select board, the operating budget would result in no change to the town tax rate. There's no assumption of fund balance use for the default budget. The select board would make the decision at 2021 tax rate setting in the fall. And then looking here, you see historical town tax rate. There was reevaluation, which caused that big dip that you see from 17 to 18 there. Level tax rate in 2019 was due to additional revenue from the state, and the voters approved an operating budget and special articles that would have resulted in a larger 2020 tax rate. However, unanticipated funds, federal funds for COVID went into the general fund, and the select board increased use of fund balance in 2020 to maintain a low tax rate. The 2021 calculated tax rate does not include any of the special articles.
So Cole, I'll just, like Scott did, I'll touch on the default budget. Again, this was a change in law in 2018 that took effect in 2019, where the governing body is responsible for presenting the calculation of the default budget. Some of the increases that are included in the default budget include firefighters and DPW contracts that have been approved at previous town meetings, as well as the employer portion of the New Hampshire retirement rate. The one thing I will just mention to the budget committee and anyone that might be watching, the school operates on a fiscal year running July 1st to June 30th, whereas the town runs on a calendar year. So that is why our increase in New Hampshire retirement is not quite as big, because we're only seeing 6 months of that increase, whereas the school budget has for the entire year. But that is in the default budget as well as the operating budget. We have the health and dental rate increases, as well as the additional $500,000 that were approved at 2020 town meeting that had specific instruction to include in the default budget and the operating budget. Those items that are not included in default are wage increases for non-union, and then one-time expenses in CIP. We have the CCTV, the townwide security, Parks and Rec reader board, some of the increases in DPW traffic signal repair and bridge repair, and also the DPW excavator. And then I think we're on the budgetary warrant articles that the select board has proposed. The first is one that is required by New Hampshire DRA every year. This is to appropriate from the EMS Special Revenue Fund. This is meant to offset EMS operations in the operating budget. If this article were to fail, EMS operations would be funded through taxation, and the amount would equal a calculated 48 cents on the tax rate. So this is something that we have done since 2018 at the direction of the New Hampshire Department of Revenue. The first, article number 5, we have the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the New England Benevolent Police Association. They represent our patrol officers at the police department. As you can see here, it is a 3-year collective bargaining agreement. In 2021, we would be asking to appropriate $84,141. This is, again, this covers 21 patrol officers at the police department. When we went into negotiations with the patrol officers this time, improving recruitment and retention was very important. Over the last 4 years, we've had 10 officers leave Goffstown, and 5 of those left to go to other police agencies. Currently, the market for police officers in Southern New Hampshire, it's a very competitive market. There are many towns that have signing bonuses and higher starting wages. So we've lost quite a few of those officers. And as we've done those exit interviews, there's been an indication that wages were the primary reason. And this is important too, because we estimate that it costs $54,000 to train a new police officer. That includes the cost to pay them while they're at the academy, field training officers, equipment, all that time. It takes them almost 6 months to get them up to where they are a certified officer. So this CBA increases the starting pay to reflect what we're seeing in Southern New Hampshire, with a beginning salary of $24.70. That's about a $2 increase from what we're currently offering. And that would put us about at the middle of the pack of what we're seeing in the surrounding communities. As you can see, the 2019 average was actually $24.55. So it's actually increased in just that year. And then those current officers that are already working for the department, this would place them on the matrix based on time in service. Because again, as much as we want to recruit new officers to the department, we also want to take care of those officers that are currently serving our community. Article 6 is the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. They represent the dispatchers and clerks union also at the police department. Again, this is a 3-year CBA. In the first year, the appropriation would be $31,879. This group represents 12 members, 3 clerks, and 9 dispatchers. Those dispatchers work in our dispatch center, and which dispatches for 6 outside agencies for other fire and police departments outside of town, and brings in over $150,000 of revenue every year. The focus on the new agreement was to maintain competitive wages. And so dispatcher starting pay is $20 an hour, and clerks would increase to $18 an hour. On the town side, we were able to eliminate the most expensive health insurance plan, as well as make some adjustments to workplace conditions that both the union and the town wanted. Article 7 is a article asking for a non-lapsing special article. This is similar to what we saw in 2019 with a twist. This is to hire 4 full-time firefighters / EMTs to cover shifts currently staffed by part-time or overtime personnel. Currently, shifts are filled by 4 full-time firefighters and 2 part-time firefighters. This program would maintain the 6 shift firefighters. It would just shift it to 5 full-time and 1 part-time. Currently, the FEMA SAFER grant is, this grant round is 100% funded by FEMA funds. So those 4 new firefighters would be 100% paid for by FEMA funds if the town was successful in securing this grant. And then part-time firefighters would be maintained to be available to backfill vacation or any other absences, and thereby reduce the fire department's overtime costs. So really the goal of this is not to change any staffing levels. It would be to maintain current level of service. It's just a different model of funding it and taking advantage of those FEMA SAFER funds that are available in this grant round.
Derek, if I could, I just want to let everyone know that I'm admitting Greg Flagel, and for the minute taker to note the time. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Article 8 and Article 9 should look familiar to Budget Committee members, as well as those that are follow our annual process. The first is a deposit into the Fire Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund. This deposit would come from unassigned fund balance. The Fire Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund was established at town meeting in 2008, and the purpose is for purchasing fire apparatus and to avoid spikes in the tax rate. Annually since 2008, we have made deposits into that capital reserve fund. That way, when an engine or some other apparatus needs to be purchased, we don't hit everybody all at once. The select board is the agent for this fund, and we're asking to deposit $250,000 from unassigned fund balance. And you see there on your screen, the current balance as of the end of the year of this capital reserve fund is $644,276. Article 9 is a similar deposit into the Grassmere Town Hall Capital Reserve Fund. This was established at town meeting in 2005 for the purpose of restoring the Grassmere Town Hall. The town and the Historic District Commission is in the final phase of restoring the Grassmere Town Hall. These funds will be used to construct an addition with an ADA elevator, providing access for all residents to the recently restored second floor theater. The select board is the agent of this fund. The $100,000 would come from unassigned fund balance, and this is the third deposit of 3 planned. The current balance, you can see there on your screen, is $272,591. So this would bring this up to just under $375,000. The HDC currently estimates that the ADA elevator addition would cost between $450,000 and $500,000 to have constructed. So the remainder would be made up through seeking out grants and private donations. Article 10, I'll just cover this quickly, but then I'll let, if we have Diane, and we also have the chair of the library trustees, Amy Hunteman, on the line. But the library trustees are seeking permission to use unrestricted library funds in the amount of $95,000. This would be for the planning and renovation in addition to the current library. So Amy, maybe you could speak a little bit more on that.
Sure. I'm Amy Hunteman. I'm the chair of the Library Board of Trustees. Thank you for fixing my name, Scott. This article is for us to use our privately held unrestricted funds. We have money that comes from the town, and that's our budget, and it pays for our employees and the basic running. And then the other money that's privately held comes from donations and bequests and things like that. This article will allow us to hire industry professionals to help us develop a more accurate budget for our project and create a realistic fundraising goal for our capital campaign. It also includes money for land surveying and geotechnical studies. The trustees will use the information from those professionals to lower costs where we can before the project begins, and to troubleshoot where we can before anything starts. And most importantly, to obtain the most accurate numbers we can for the renovation and addition library project that we're working towards. Oh yeah, this is what you see on the screen right now is one of our preliminary draft drawings of what the site would look like. And where the building is, the building, that part that's outlined in orange, that's the existing library. And the part that says 2-story addition, that is where the new part would go, the addition would go. And then you see we would expand parking as well. So these are all things that we're proposing for the future. And to get there, we want to get the most accurate numbers so we can go for a bond in the future with the best budget and the best numbers that we have for the town.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you.
The last 2 articles that we have are, again, articles that the Budget Committee has seen in the past. The first is Article 11. This is to raise and appropriate $20,000 for the purpose of supporting the programs of the Goffstown nonprofit Crispin's House Coalition for Youth. This is a nonprofit agency that provides youth drug and alcohol and suicide prevention services. Article 12 would be to raise and appropriate $15,000 for the purpose of helping to support the nonprofit Goffstown Main Street. They focus on economic vitality for the Goffstown Village. They also, when we were not in COVID times, but they organize Old Home Day on Uncommon Art on the Common, the Giant Pumpkin Way Off and Regatta, as well as Shop Small Saturday and Friday night under the lights. The last item I just want to present to the Budget Committee members as well as members of the public. Again, the select board is proposing use of fund balance to offset the tax rate setting process in the fall of 2021. Here on the red line, we show the actual unassigned fund balance at $7.1 million, whereas an 8% target, which is the select board's target under their fund balance policy, is $4 million. So even if there is the use of fund balance at tax rate setting time by the select board, they would be well above their 8% target. And again, fund balance is maintained by the town as we collect taxes on behalf of the school, the town, and the county, and we pay that out. So the town is allowed to hold on to that. And I think the last one I have is just the information for public comment.
Great. So the information is on the screen there. And Scott, is there anyone on the line at the current moment?
At this time, no.
Great. If we could just keep that up as we did before for about a minute here. If any members of the public would like to make a comment. All right, Scott, checking in.
Yeah, no callers. And again, just if Derek, you want to show the screen just so that folks can see that. When I say no callers, nobody has raised their hand, and I think Kathy is the only one who's a member of the public at this point. I'll share it so that folks can see.
So, yep, there we've got the 4 call-ins, but we've got 3 basically participating as members of the budget committee.
All right. With that, Derek, do I need a vote to close the public hearing? Or
No.
Well, I think the last item we would say is you have the budgets for the Goffstown Village Water Precinct as well as the Grassmere Village Water Precinct. So if you want to mention those.
Yep. The budgets for the 2 water precincts are they raise the revenue and they don't affect taxation. It's all based on user fees, and the budget committee has reviewed both of those budgets during our process. All right. With that out of the way, Derek, do we need a vote, or can I just close the public hearing?
I'll leave that up to your discretion.
Yeah, typically the chair just closes the hearing if there's no comments.
Great. Then I will close the public hearing, and we'll move into our regular budget committee meeting here to go over recommendations for the ballot. For folks who are new to the committee, what we'll vote on tonight will be the recommendations that appear on the ballot pending no activity at the deliberative session. If there's a change made to a warrant article at the deliberative session, then we would have a chance then to act on it, but without, even if that was a $1 change to the overall budget, then the budget committee would have an opportunity to act. But without that taking place, the recommendations tonight will be the budget committee recommendations that appear on the budget at town meeting, on the ballot, sorry. at town meeting.
Cole, can I just add one thing to that?
Yes.
The one thing that I will mention to the budget committee members, the two CBAs, the patrol officer and the dispatch clerk CBAs, those are not open to amendment at the deliberative session. So what your recommendation that you vote on this evening would be what appears on the ballot in March. By law, those are not open for amendment. We do have the police chief here, as well as Selectman LeMay, if any of the board or budget committee members have any questions about either of those.
Great. I'm not sure if we want to try to put up slides or whatnot, or if folks, maybe only if folks have questions about said slide, but we'll start off with the school side as we start off with presentations tonight. So looking at the general operating budget, is there any further discussion from members? If there's none, then a motion would be in order to either recommend or not recommend, then we would take a roll call vote.
Chair, this is Jared Talbot. I would like to make a motion to recommend the operating budget for the school board, warrant article number 2. And Mr. Gross, if you can bring up that number. And the total amount of $47,743,102.
Is there a second?
This is Eileen. I'll second.
Great. And a second from Eileen. Open for further discussion here. If you are going to chime in, just make sure to state your name before. All right. Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordis,
Yes.
Greg Flegel,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff O'Brien,
Yes.
Fred is not here, Dennis is not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo, did Richard drop off?
Hold on a second. He's not on my screen. Hold on, let me check my text. I don't have him on I don't have a text message from him.
All right. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman LeMay.
Yes.
All right, the recommendation is 12-0 to recommend. Next up would be the Capital Reserve Fund.
Mr. Chair, this is Jared Talbot. I would like to recommend for approval warrant article number 3, which is $200,000 in the Capital Reserve Fund from our unreserved fund balance, if available, at the end of this year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Richard Fletcher. Open for discussion. All right, hearing none, I'll move on to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordis,
Yes.
Greg Flegel,
Yes.
Joe,
No.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff O'Brien,
Yes.
Fred is not here, Dennis is not here. I vote yes. Spencer Diaz,
No.
Richard Manzo did not hop back on yet. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
Selectman LeMay.
Yes.
All right, the vote is 10-2 to recommend. And that wraps us up on the school side. thank you all for all the work over there, and we'll move on to the town side. First up, we have the operating budget. Or,
Derek, did you want to put that up on the screen? I don't know if you need it. I don't have that.
So the amount call for the operating budget is 24,869,592. That's right up here.
do I have a motion?
Paul, Selectman Lemay.
Yep.
I'll make the recommendation we accept Article 3, Budget Committee, with a total on the budget of $24,869,592.
Great. Is there a second?
This is Eileen. I'll second that.
Great. Second from Eileen. Further discussion?
Mr. Chair, and this is just to confirm, this is to recommend, correct? I didn't.
Correct.
I heard that term. Okay.
And that was Jared. Yes. All right. Hearing none, I'll move on to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordis,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff O'Brien,
Yes.
Rose not here, Dennis is not here. I vote yes. Spencer Diaz,
Yes.
Richard Manso, not there. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0. Next up, I have the EMS. Just what I'll mention here. This came up. I don't think in my first cycle on the budget committee we had to approve this, but second time around, we did. If we don't accept this, then we can't. If this doesn't pass, then we can't accept revenue. And the funds would have to be raised through taxation, which I think we all would hopefully acknowledge is not a good thing for the taxpayers.
And Cole, I would just mention it with payment, this will be on the included on the warrant, but passage of this article would reduce the operating budget by the same amount.
Great. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we accept the $834,769 for the EMS fund operation.
Great. Motion from Richard to recommend. Is there a second?
Second, Spencer Dias.
Great. Second from Spencer. Further discussion?
This is Joe. It was 764, not 769. Just saying. I think it's a $5. So if you just amend that to the correct amount, I'll vote.
Great. Richard, do you amend your motion to
Yes,
reflect
I'll
that?
amend it to that amount.
Great. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll move to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordis,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Brett and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manso, did you pop back in yet? No. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0 there. Moving on, we have the CBA for the Benevolent Police Association. As happen, I know that this might be new for some members. As this happens, oftentimes we see CBAs late in the process. So I know that we haven't had a chance to discuss this yet. So if there's any questions that folks have for Derek, Selectman Lemay, or the chief.
Cole, this is Joe. I'd like to make a motion to approve Article 5.
Is there a second?
Cole, Mark, Lemay, yes, I'll approve the second.
All right, second from Selectman Lemay. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, move to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordes,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Brendan, Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer Diaz,
Yes.
Richard Manzo isn't here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0 there. Moving on to Article 6 for the AFSCME AFL-CIO contract for dispatchers and clerks. Any discussion there? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Cole, this is Joe. I'll motion to recommend Article 6.
Great. Motion from Joe. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Second from Richard Fletcher. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, I'll move to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordes,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff O'Brien,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo, Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0 there. Scott, if Richard Manzo comes back in, can you just,
I will let you know,
Stated.
but
all right.
yep, nothing so far.
Article 7, which is the Safer Grant funds. Any discussion here?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 7.
Great. Motion from Richard Fletcher. Is there a second?
Spencer Dice, second.
This is Joe. Okay,
Great.
go ahead.
That works too.
Second from Spencer. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move to a roll call. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordes,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0 there. Moving on. Article 8 dealing with the Fire Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund.
Cole, Selectman Lemay. I make a motion, we approve Article 8 as presented.
Great. Motion from Selectman Lemay to recommend. Is there a second?
This is Elizabeth. I second.
Great. Second from Elizabeth. Further discussion? All right. Hearing none. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
We're 12-0 there. Moving on is the deposit into the capital reserve fund for the Grassmere Town Hall.
This is Elizabeth. I make a motion to recommend.
Motion from
This is
Elizabeth
Joe. I'll
to-
second.
Sorry. Motion from Elizabeth to recommend, and then a second from Joe. Any discussion here?
Good.
All right. Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill Cordis,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff O'Brien,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're unanimous. 12-0, sorry. All right, next up is the library article. Any discussion or motions here?
Call Selectman Lemay. I present Article 10 as presented.
That was a motion to recommend. Was that, sorry, Selectman, it broke out for a second here. Was that,
Second that.
I'm
Skylar
sorry.
also seconded, just so you know.
all right, and it was a motion to recommend, correct, Selectman Lemay?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And a second from Skylar. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
No.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred is not here, Dennis is not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 11-1 to recommend. Article 11 for Christmas House.
Move to recommend Article 11 as presented for the Crispin House. Lieutenant Mark Lemay, Selectman Lemay.
This is Greg. I'll second, please.
Great. So motion to recommend from Selectman Lemay and second from Greg. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
You almost done?
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred is not here, Dennis is not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we're 12-0 there also. In Article 12, which is Goffstown Main Street. Motion or discussion?
Cole, this is Mark. Move to approve Article 12 as presented.
Great. Motion from Selectman Lemay. Is there a second?
This is Elizabeth. I second.
And a second from Elizabeth to recommend. Further discussion?
Yes, to recommend.
Any further discussion here? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
No.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
No.
Fred is not here. Dennis is not here. I vote no. Spencer,
No.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, we are 8-4 there to recommend. I believe that's it.
Cole, I just want to let you know that I did reach out to Richard at around 8:01. I texted him and he replied that he connected and he said, I can't connect. When I try calling the line, it's like the meeting doesn't exist. Is there another way? I did give him the bridge line. And he wasn't able, he didn't connect. So I did make an effort and he made an effort as well. So I just wanted the folks to know that he did try.
Tim and Cole?
Yep.
So do we need to vote on the two water precinct budgets? I know we moved them to public hearing at our last meeting, but I don't know if we actually voted on the bottom lines.
Derek, do we need votes there?
Yes, you should vote to recommend or not recommend. That way, both water precincts, when they print up their warrants for our annual meeting, they can have a budget committee recommendation.
All right. We'll take a vote there. Grassmere Water Precinct. We'll take that up first. Or Richard,
I'll
yep,
move the Grassfield Water Precinct budget.
great.
Mark Lemay, I'll move as well.
All right. And a motion from Richard Fletcher, second from Selectman Lemay. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis aren't here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard isn't here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
Great. And then a motion on the other water precinct? That was 12-0.
I'll move the Goffstown Village Water Precinct budget as presented.
Great. Motion from Richard Fletcher. Is there a second?
This is Eileen. I'll second it.
Great. Thank you. Further discussion? All right. I'll call the roll. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis aren't here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo isn't here. Elizabeth,
No.
Jared Talbot,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right, so we're 11-1 to recommend. All right. Is there any other business?
Mr. Chair, I wanted to personally thank all the Budget Committee members, and I know this has been a pretty challenging year for everyone, and to do most of our work via Zoom and remote meetings wasn't easy. And I just want to thank the budget committee for their patience and appreciate, your hard work through this. And like I said, this was, it was very unusual doing it this way, but I think in the end, I think the committee was able to get questions asked and answered, and I think it went well, but it was a very strange year indeed.
Yes, indeed. I would like to thank members for being accessible and all the work that we've put in this year. Always an honor to chair this committee. And it has been since Chairman Smith last cycle entrusted me with the role. Think about him a lot serving on this committee. So thank you all for the work that we put in. And motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Great. Motion from Richard Fletcher,
Yep, second, Mark Lemay.
second from Selectman Lemay. I'll call the roll here. Skylar,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Fred and Dennis are not here. I vote yes. Spencer,
Yes.
Richard Manzo is not here. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Richard Fletcher,
Yes.
and Selectman Lemay.
Yes.
All right. We're unanimous. Thank you all very much. And we'll be emailing out details about deliberative soon here. So thank you all for your work and have a great evening.
Thank you.